Hi, this is Rev Ed with today's Back Porch Devotional from Psalm 53. The fool says in his heart, "There is no God." They are corrupt, doing abominable iniquity. There is none who does good. God looks down from heaven to the children of man to see if there are any who understand, who seek after God. They have all fallen away. Together they have become corrupt. There is none who does good, not even one. Have those who work evil no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and do not call upon God? There they are in great terror, when there is no terror, for God scatters the bones of him who encamps against you. You put them to shame, for God has rejected them. Oh, that salvation for Israel would come out of Zion. When God restores the fortunes of his people, let Jacob rejoice, let Israel be glad. This Psalm of David very accurately sums up the state of those who deny the existence of God. And he says that they are fools. Now we have to understand that in biblical usage, a fool is not someone who is not intelligent. Some of the most intelligent people who've ever lived have denied the existence of God. It's not a matter of not being able to figure out that there is a God. You'll notice David says, the fool says in his heart, there is no God. Denying the existence of God is actually more an act of the will than it is a struggle of intellectual comprehension. There is something in each of us that knows that there is a creator. The world screams of his existence just by the scope and the diversity and the beauty and the power and the glory of this created world and everything in the universe. We all know it would be absolutely impossible for all of this to come into being spontaneously by accident. The creation itself declares that there is a creator. And so to deny such a thing is an act of complete foolishness. But David goes on. To deny that there is a God means that anything goes. People who do not believe in God have a hard time explaining where morality comes from. They would have a hard time explaining where either evil or good comes from. You can't even say that anything is evil or good. There is no basis for making an objective determination of what's good and what's bad. All you can say is what I like and what I don't like, what pleases me and what does not please me. It's absolutely foolhardy to deny the existence of God, because when you do that, the whole world unravels. But those who deny the existence of God leave room then for every kind of evil. It goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve were tempted by the serpent, who told them that if they ate that fruit, they would be like God. And what that means is you get to set the rules, you get to set the boundaries, or even escape from all boundaries, which is kind of the state of the world we're in now. And David looks beyond those who have denied God, and he says, all have fallen away. There's none who does good, not even one. And we resist that statement because we think, I do some good. I do some good. I'm not a terribly, completely, 100% awful being. And that's true. We understand that the concept of total depravity does not mean that we are 100% evil all the time. What it does mean is that none of us is 100% pure at any point. And what we have to remember in all humility is even our good works are tinged and tainted with self-interest. We do a nice deed and we hope somebody notices and gives us credit for it. We do something good and we are anticipating that God will reward us for it. We have nothing in us that is purely devoted to the glory of God. Indeed, Paul makes that point in Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. David knows that those who deny God and those who work evil are headed for destruction. And he encourages God's people not to be afraid. God is not fooled. God is not mocked. God is not confused. He looks down on the children of man. He observes. You know, many people wish that God would just kind of go away and ignore them. God does not ignore them, mainly because he cares for us. God, I believe, is reaching out to every single human being every single day of their lives, whether they acknowledge it or not, or respond to it or not. And this is the great hope that we have for others who appear to deny the existence of God. We know God is speaking to them. And so when it's our turn, we too need to speak to them of the truth and the beauty and the goodness of this God who created them. But those who persist in denying the existence of God will be leading the pack when it comes to evil. And we have to guard ourselves that when we are doing good, we're doing it for God's glory and not ours. Jesus said, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." We should hope, frankly, that all of our good deed doing is perfectly anonymous, because we're doing everything for him alone and not for ourselves and not for the applause of others. Salvation for Israel will come out of Zion. That is, will come from the throne of God. And God's people will be preserved and restored and renewed. And those who persist in denying God's existence, who persist in walking in the ways of evil, they'll get their wish. They will not have anything to do with God as they desired. We need to remember that no one goes to hell kicking and screaming. Everyone goes there of their own choice. C.S. Lewis said that ultimately there are two kinds of people in the world: those who say to God, "Thy will be done," and those to whom God must ultimately say, "Fine, have it your way." We can pray fervently for those that we know who appear to deny the existence of God, and hope that we have an opportunity to speak some light into the darkness of their hearts. But we do not need to despair when the world appears to be overrun with evil folk denying God. God rules, and he will preserve his people until the very end. God's blessings be upon you this day.